Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome to Virtual University. I'm your course instructor for training and development. And this is the 31st lecture that we are meeting for today. We were discussing training methods. And in the previous discussion, we had started talking about technology-based training methods. So in the previous session, we had discussed the various influences and advantages of using technology in your learning activity. We had looked at what were the shortcomings of the traditional training methods, which technology-based training methods, they have eliminated those shortcomings. We had looked at illustrations of various learning environments, and we had started discussing about specific technology-based training methods, and we had discussed multimedia training within that category. Today we are going to talk about, mainly we are going to discuss computer-based training methods, in which there are three basic types. We are going to dedicate most of our discussion today on online training, which is a type of computer-based training method. Other than that, there are two types, interactive CD and interactive video. That is the basic computer-based training methods. So the features of a computer-based training methods, they include, number one, the computer provides the learning stimulus. So the learning stimulus that comes from the computer, the content, the video, the depiction of the learning content, that comes from the computer. So the learning stimulus, it is generated by the computer. That is the first component of a computer-based training method. Then the trainee must respond to the stimulus. So the computer may ask you to answer a question, the computer may ask you, it may prompt you to attempt to do a specific process, so make a specific choice. So the person, the trainee, must respond to that stimulus. And the third element of computer-based training method is that the computer analyzes the responses and provides feedback to the trainee. So the computer is going to give you the result of your response, whether you have made the right choice, whether you have selected the right answer. So an immediate feedback will be given to you after that interaction is completed. So these are the features of a computer-based training method. The first type of computer-based training method is CD-ROM. That CD which is provided to you, the training program is written on that CD. So you are exposed to some training content. For example, you read a paragraph, you read some notes, you see a video, and then some questions about that video, about that paragraph, about that note, they are asked from you, and your learning is analyzed after asking those questions. How much you have understood that paragraph, how much you have understood what was supposed to be learned in a particular video. So a CD contains all the training content of the training program. Interactive है क्योंकि आपने उसमें आंसर्स देने हैं, आपने उसमें रिस्पॉन्ड करना है, आपने ये बताना है कि आपने उसमें कितना सीख लिया है. जो आपको ट्रेनिंग कंटेंट प्रोवाइड किया गया है, उसमें आपने उसको कितना लर्न कर लिया. सो सीडीज के ऊपर बहुत सारे ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम्स अवेलेबल होते हैं. I don't need to give you examples. You very well understand. The other type is interactive video. Interactive video is where you are interacting with the video. One is that you are interacting with training content, which is in terms of text. Another type is that you are interacting with the video. इसकी एक बहुत personal मेरी example आपको मैं बताती हूँ. When I went to UK for my PhD, I had to get a driver's license. तो उसमें एक थ्योरी टेस्ट होता है प्रैक्टिकल टेस्ट से पहले, एक वो वहां पर थ्योरी टेस्ट लेते हैं आपका कि आपको ड्राइविंग की कितनी नॉलेज है. उसके अंदर एक हैजर्ड परसेप्शन टेस्ट होता है, यानी आपने ये बताना है उनको कि आप में हैजर्ड परसेप्शन की एबिलिटी कितनी है. तो उसमें क्या है कि आपके सामने इट लुक्स लाइक यू आर ड्राइविंग, यू आर ऑन द स्टीयरिंग व्हील एंड अ वीडियो रन्स इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू. और उसमें आपको जब कोई हैजर्ड नजर आता है, यानी कोई पेडेस्ट्रियन सड़क क्रॉस कर रहा है, या कोई गाड़ी जो है वो एकदम से सामने आ गई है, या कोई जो है जानवर सामने आ गया है, या कोई भी ऐसी चीज जो कि हैजर्ड क्रिएट कर रही है, तो वो जब आपको नजर आई है तो आपने क्लिक करना है उसके ऊपर. तो आप कितने टाइम में और कितनी एफिशिएंसी के साथ और कितनी विजिलेंस के साथ क्लिक कर लेते हैं और हैजर्ड्स को परसीव कर लेते हैं, ये आपने ये बताना है क्लिक करके उस वीडियो को देखते हुए. सो दिस इज एन इंटरएक्टिव वीडियो दैट यू आर सीइंग द वीडियो एंड यू आर गिविंग योर रिस्पॉन्स व्हेन द वीडियो इज रनिंग इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू, एंड व्हेन यू सी अ हैजर्ड यू क्लिक ऑन दैट. सो you have to perceive all the hazards that are provided, that you are exposed to in that video. That is an example of interactive video. So these are the two basic types of computer-based training method. The next type of training method that we are going to discuss and dedicate most of our discussion today is online training, online or e-learning, which is called. Now, online learning is instruction and delivery of training by computer online through the internet or the web. So this is a training which is delivered online through the internet or the web. Now, when I say internet or the web, does it mean that internet and web are two different things? चले आप मुझे बताएं कि क्या इंटरनेट और वेब दो मुख्तलिफ चीजें हैं या एक ही चीज है. मेरा अंदाजा है कि आप में से बहुत से ने ये कहा होगा कि हाँ, इंटरनेट एंड वेब आर द सेम थिंग्स. मेरा भी ऐसा ही ख्याल था, बट आई हैव फाउंड दैट इंटरनेट एंड वेब आर टू डिफरेंट थिंग्स. बेसिकली इंटरनेट इज बेसिकली द नेटवर्क that connects the computers of this world. It is a huge, big network. That is the infrastructure that is provided on which connections can be made. So internet is the transmitting medium, whereas web is a structure that is made on the internet. It is something that provides interaction on a particular structure on the internet. It uses a specific protocol, which is the HTTP protocol, but that is not the only way to connect on the internet. So web is getting access to a particular website. www जब आप टाइप करते हैं, उसका क्या मतलब है? That is the short word for World Wide Web. You are accessing www.something. You are accessing World Wide Web something. So something that is given on that specific kind of HTTP protocol on the World Wide Web through the internet, that is coming to you. So when you access a website, that is a resource from the web. Whereas there could be many different other ways to connect to the internet. For example, if you're sending email, that is not through a website. So that uses another kind of a protocol, for example, SMTP or FTP protocol, and various different ways. So web is a structure on a structure which is called the internet. Anyway, so what I was saying, that online learning is learning that is provided through the computer, which is connected through a network with other computers. Now this network can be through the internet, it can be through web, and it can also be a third option, which is intranet. Intranet does not use internet as the connecting medium. It uses network of the particular place of that particular organization. So intranet is not, it does not use the facility of the internet. It does not get connected by the internet. Intranet is network of a smaller medium, a smaller magnitude within a specific area, within a specific organization. So online learning can be provided either through internet or through web-based learning or through intranet learning. There are many potential features, there are many potential possibilities that can be incorporated, that can be exploited by the use of e-learning or online technology in your learning activity. यानी आप अपनी लर्निंग एक्टिविटी को बहुत से मुख्तलिफ फीचर्स ऐड करके एनहांस कर सकते हैं अगर आप ई लर्निंग या ऑनलाइन टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करें. ये फीचर्स 6 कैटेगरीज से बिलोंग करते हैं. These 6 categories, they include content, they include learner control, it includes collaboration, it includes link to resources, it includes administrative processes, and it includes delivery. So within these 6 categories, you can add various different features in your learning activity by the use of online resources. So with respect to content, you can add a number of resources, you can add a number of possibilities. So the possibilities that you can incorporate are text, video, graphics, and sound. You can incorporate all these possibilities in online e-learning. Then over collaboration की हमने पिछले सेशन में बात की थी, digital collaboration की. You have unlimited possibilities of collaboration when you use e-learning or online learning. So you can get collaboration and sharing from communities of practice. You can get collaboration between peers. Then other trainees can collaborate with each other. You can collaborate with experts. You can collaborate with mentors and advisors. So there are so many different features that you can add in terms of collaboration when you use internet or e-learning. The third category is that of learner control. Learner control means that the learner has the control over the pace, time, and effort that he wants to exert on the learning activity. So e-learning provides the learner control over how much time and where and when the learning will take place. So the various features that can be added in the learner control are when a person can practice, how much a person can practice. For example, अगर आप GMAT की तैयारी कर रहे हैं और CD के ऊपर 15 different tests हैं और आपको लगता है कि आपको वो सब 15 टेस्ट करने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप 3-4 भी करके तो अच्छे नंबर ले सकते हैं, तो ये आपकी अपनी चॉइस है. इट इज अप टू योर डिस्क्रेशन. कोई 15 के 15 करेगा, कोई 2 करेगा, कोई 1 भी नहीं करेगा, कोई 5-10 के करीब कर लेगा. सो इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द पर्सन हाउ मच प्रैक्टिस you want to do in that particular training. And then pacing, how much time do you want to spend? आप उसको रोज करना चाहते हैं, आप उसको 2 दिन बाद करना चाहते हैं, आप वीकेंड पे करना चाहते हैं. What would be the pace of learning? Then what content do you want to see? अगर आपको एक फॉर एग्जाम्पल नोट जो है वो आपको समझ आ गया है, आपको उसको ज्यादा देर समझने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप उसको स्किप कर देंगे. तो मुख्तलिफ कंटेंट को आप स्किप कर सकते हैं, किसी कंटेंट पे आप ज्यादा टाइम लगा सकते हैं. सो you have a control over what content you want to see. Then do you want to see a video? Do you want to access the resources जो hyperlink में दिए हुए हैं, आप उनको खोल के पढ़ना चाहते हैं? ये आपकी डिस्क्रेशन पे है कि आपने कौन सा कंटेंट एक्सेस करना है. और उसके बाद accessibility, you have the control. You want to access your online, your web-based training program within your office. You want to access it while you are traveling, or you want to access it while you are at home. So it is your own discretion when and where you want to access it. So all these possibilities, all these features can be added, which increase the learner control over the learning activity. Then another category is linking to resources. In that, you also have a number of various possible features that you can add. So you can link the training content with other possible documents. You can add links in the shape of hyperlinks. So, and then you can provide links to other websites. Then you can provide links to electronic performance support systems. So a number of things can be linked together in this e-learning training module. The next category is delivery. So there are a number of possibilities in which you deliver e-learning. So the possibilities, that is, we just discussed, it can be internet, or you can deliver your training over the internet, or you can deliver your training over the intranet, where only your organizational members can access the training content, or you can deliver training over the web, over a website, or you can deliver distance learning as well. So there are different possibilities of delivery that can be added into your e-learning program. And finally, the category of administration, that can include a number of features. So you can enroll online, so that can improve the administrative processes. Then your performance can be monitored online, your progress can be monitored online, and then assessment can be made online. So all these possibilities are there if you are delivering training over the internet, if you are developing an e-learning program. So all these are the potential features that can be added into an e-learning training program. So what are the various advantages that are possible by developing an e-learning training program? क्या advantages हो सकते हैं? बहुत से आपके ज़हन में पहले ही क्लियर होंगे. एक तो ये कि it supports the company's business and strategy. आपको पता है कि आजकल की रैपिड चेंज की एनवायरनमेंट में, रैपिड टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट की एनवायरनमेंट में, e-learning, online learning is something that can link the organizational goals and strategies with the training function. So this is something that can enhance the integration of the training and learning activity with the company's business and goals. Another advantage is that it is accessible at any time and any place. Another advantage is that the audience can include employees and managers as well as vendors, customers, and other clients. So in a traditional training program, in a classroom learning environment, only the trainees, they can be the audience. And if you want to add audience, you specifically require them to attend that training program. Whereas in an e-learning format, if your content is available on a website, anybody can access that content and it can provide you feedback, it can learn from those resources, and so many different possibilities are possible in that particular format. So the only audience is not your employees and managers, but you can also include audience such as your vendors and your clients and customers as well. And then another advantage is that training can be delivered to geographically dispersed employees. So if people are located in various different countries or in various different cities, they don't have to be present at a specific place. The training can be delivered to people who are dispersed geographically. So that enhances many different possibilities, and training can be provided if, for example, if for one particular a product that is going to be launched all over the world, and you need to give training to your customer services representatives about that particular product, and that is a product that is similar all over the world. So your customer services representatives can receive the training online all over the world wherever they are located. So you don't have to arrange a separate training program for each one of them in a specific city or in a specific country. You can give the same training. If, for example, if it is a video lecture that needs to be delivered, they can receive the training, they can receive the online training wherever they are. So it can be provided to geographically dispersed employees. And then training can be delivered faster and to more employees in a shorter period of time. यही अगर एग्जाम्पल हम लेते हैं कि अगर आपने एक ही प्रोडक्ट के लिए ट्रेनिंग देनी है और बहुत सी मुख्तलिफ मुल्कों में देनी है, तो अगर आप एक ही वीडियो लेक्चर ऑनलाइन जो है वो ट्रांसमिट कर रहे हैं, तो इट कैन बी द ट्रेनिंग कैन बी प्रोवाइडेड इन अ शॉर्ट पीरियड ऑफ टाइम टू अ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पीपल एट द सेम टाइम. So it will save you time as well, and a large number of employees are getting the training at the same time, so many costs are saved. Another advantage of e-learning is that updating is easy. You can update the content, you can update the information very easily. You have to access your website and you can change the content. ये मैंने लास्ट सेशन में भी बात की थी कि अगर आपने सीडी को चेंज करना है तो जिसके पास जो सीडी है वो तो चेंज नहीं हो सकती है. सो यू हैव टू लॉन्च अ न्यू वर्जन ऑफ दैट. बट whatever content is present in your website, in your online learning program, that can be changed because you have access to changing it all the time. So updating is very easy. Then practice, feedback, objectives, assessment, and other positive features of a learning environment can be built into the program. So you can incorporate all the features of an effective learning environment by including practice. You can give practice exercises, you can include feedback, you can provide objectives, you can carry out an assessment. So all the possibilities of creating an effective learning environment are possible in an e-learning training program. Another advantage is that paperwork is eliminated. That is very simple, that you don't have to do all that paperwork. Everything is there online. And it can link learners to other content experts and peers. So the course instructor, that is not the only expert who is providing support and facilitation to the trainees. Other experts, other peers, other trainees can also interact. So interaction and collaboration is also possible. So these are the various advantages of online learning, of advantages of e-learning. Now, there are many advantages of it. Yes, we can see that. But does it lead to any better learning effectiveness? Does it lead to people learning more from the learning activity, people learning more from the learning environment? So we need to see that as well. So let's see what research tells us about the comparison between web-based learning, internet learning, and a classroom or traditional type of learning. So let's see what is the comparison. What does it say? First of all, online learning is more effective than classroom learning, where trainees have to learn declarative knowledge. Declarative knowledge आपको याद होना चाहिए, हमने बात की थी. Declarative knowledge is knowledge that you have to show, that you have to declare actually, that you have got the information. So a learning program in which the trainees have to show that they remember, they are able to recall the training content, that is declarative knowledge. So when you are attempting an exam and you are writing that you have learned this, that is declaration that you have got the knowledge. So online learning is more effective than classroom learning when the training program requires employees to show declarative knowledge. Then online learning and classroom instruction are equally effective in teaching procedural knowledge. procedural knowledge is, again, you should remember that procedural knowledge is the ability of learners to perform the skills taught in learning. So procedural knowledge is that you know the procedure how to carry out a specific task. So you know the procedure how to operate a computer or how to operate a machinery or how to carry out a surgery. So the skill of actually doing things. So the procedure of doing something, that is procedural knowledge. So web-based instruction is equally effective as in classroom instruction. Then employees are, or trainees are, equally satisfied with both web-based instruction and classroom instruction. So the level of satisfaction, research suggests that the level of satisfaction of trainees with web-based learning and classroom learning, that is almost similar. Another research, it tells that web-based instruction appears to be more effective than classroom instruction when A, learners are provided with control over content, sequence, and pace, B, in long courses, and C, when learners are able to practice the content and receive feedback. So web-based learning is more effective when people have control over the content. They have control over the content, pace, and the learning activity. And it is more effective in long courses, and it is more effective in which people are given the opportunity to practice and they are given feedback. So web-based courses are more effective than classroom courses if they have these features in them. Another research suggests that web-based instruction and classroom instruction are equally effective when similar instructional methods are used. For example, both approaches use video, practice assignments, and learning tests. Another research is that the employees who learn most from online learning are those who complete more of the available practice opportunities and take more time to complete the training. So people who practice more in the web-based training program, they learn more. They benefit most from this kind of training activity. And those people who spend more time on the training activity, जो कि ज़्यादा time लेते हैं, वो they learn most from a web-based training program. But research also suggests that learning is not always effective, and learning is not effective for everyone in a web-based training program, specifically for those people who have low self-efficacy with technology. जिन लोगों को technology के इस्तेमाल में they are less confident with the use of technology, which have lesser self-efficacy in the use of technology, उन लोगों के लिए web-based training खास तौर पे इनफेक्टिव हो सकती है, क्योंकि उनको टेक्नोलॉजी के यूज करने में कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है. उनको जब आप कंप्यूटर के अंदर चीजें डाल के दे देंगे तो, या वेबसाइट के ऊपर जब उनको एक्सेस करना है, तो उनको एप्रीहेंशन होती है, क्योंकि उन्होंने इस तरह के लोग जो है उनको दे नीड इंस्ट्रक्शन, दे नीड डायरेक्शन, दे नीड समवन टू टेल देम व्हाट टू डू. सो ऑनलाइन या वेब बेस्ड लर्निंग के अंदर यू नीड टू टेक द इनिशिएटिव, यू नीड टू फाइंड थिंग्स योरसेल्फ, एंड यू नीड टू actually immerse yourself into learning to use the technology as well as learning the content as well. So people with low self-efficacy with technology, learning is ineffective for them in an online training module. Okay, so we have seen that web-based instruction, that is quite effective. In most of the cases, it is as effective as classroom learning. And in some cases, it is more effective than classroom learning. And we know that there are so many different potential features that can be added into web-based learning, into online learning programs. So why not exploit these resources? Why not use all these resources? But in using these resources, there can be certain hindrances. There can be certain factors that limit the use of technology, that limit the use of e-learning into incorporating into the learning system of an organization. So what can be those factors? Those factors are, first of all, that is cost. it takes a considerable amount of money to develop the infrastructure, to develop the training content that is delivered through e-learning. So one factor is the higher cost attached to it. Another factor is the lack of support from the management. So if the management is not committed to such kind of a training option, if they are not committed to invest the resources, invest the money, if the management is not ready to buy into such kind of an option, that is a factor that could limit the use of e-learning. Another factor that reduces the incorporation of e-learning is lack of motivation of employees to learn online. As we've just said, that there are certain people who have low self-efficacy with technology. Then there could be other cultural problems, other political problems within the people that they don't want to go for online learning. They are not ready to shift to such kind of a learning mechanism. They are more comfortable with the traditional learning environment. They are more comfortable with classroom learning environment. उनको ये समझ ही नहीं आती कि वो online भी सीख सकते हैं. So उनके लिए ये adjust करना, अपने mind को adjust करना मुश्किल होता है कि वो एक technology based learning module को भी effectively use कर सकते हैं. So there could be lack of motivation on part of the employees. Then another factor limiting the use of e-learning is lack of employee access. If everybody does not have access to the internet, if people, for example, are located in places where internet or mobile connection is not available, although that is, there are very few places left where mobile connection or internet is not available, but it is possible that people are operating in circumstances where mobile connection is or internet connection is not easily available, then it would reduce the use of e-learning as a tool for training. Then another factor limiting the use of e-learning is the lack of proof concerning return on investment. If your trainers, if your consultants, they are unable to show that there could be a return on investment, the benefits are more than the costs. If they are not able to show that, if they are not able to prove that, in that case, management would not be ready to buy in. Management will not be convinced. So there has to be some evidence, some proof that because of this kind of a training program, these are the benefits that we are able to achieve. Finally, another delimiting factor is the lack of high quality content. It is very difficult to develop high quality content. There needs to be a lot of research. There needs to be a lot of homework for developing e-learning content. So because high quality content is difficult to develop, it is that is a factor that limits the use of e-learning as a training program. So these are some of the factors that could reduce the use of e-learning as a learning or training program. But if you do commit yourself to investment into an e-learning program, अगर आपकी organization एक e-learning program, training program develop करना चाहती है, तो उसके लिए you need to follow certain guidelines. You need to take into account certain principles. You need to take into account certain factors that would improve the effectiveness of your training program. So you need to go through all this, through the same process of training design. You need to start with needs assessment. So you need to start with needs assessment and identify the connection between online learning and the business needs and get management to buy in. So you need to first of all make the connection between whether your organization requires an e-learning program and what is the link between the company's goals and the e-learning program that you want to develop. So if there is not any efficacy of that e-learning program, if there is no connection of meeting business goals and business needs, then such a program should not be developed. So it should be in line with the organization's goals and business needs. Then while you are conducting needs assessment, you have to make sure that employees have access to technology and technology support. If your organization does not provide access to technology to your organizational members, for example, अगर आप अपने employees को सबको computers ही नहीं दे रहे तो फिर आप computer based training program कैसे करवा सकते हैं? So अगर उनको वो training करने के लिए खुद computers purchase करने पड़ेंगे, तो that is not a viable option. Nobody is going to invest that money from their personal pocket. So you should provide the technology and the technological support. So there should be people who are ready to provide support that is concerning that technology within your organization. So you need to, while you are conducting needs assessment, you need to see that your organizational members, they have access to technology and technology support. Then while you are conducting needs assessment, you must consult with your organizational information technology department. So those are the people that are going to tell you, that are going to inform you about the limitation of your organizational resources, what can be developed, what kind of infrastructure is present, what kind of infrastructure would be required for such a training program. So you must consult with your organizational information technology department. And then you need to, exactly in the same way, you need to identify specific training needs, what kind of knowledge, skills, and behaviors are required to be trained, what kind of knowledge needs to be disseminated, what kinds of skills have to be learned, what kinds of behaviors have to be modified. And if needed, train learners on computer and internet basics. So while you are conducting a needs assessment, you also need to assess that whether people have the basic skills for using computer and technology. And if they don't have those skills, you need to first of all train them to learn the skills for using computer and technology and for accessing the internet. So these are the various factors that you need to make sure that they are in place while you are conducting needs assessment. Now, with respect to the design of the training program, you need to first of all take into account the fact that you need to include all the principles of effective learning. So you need to include practice, you need to include feedback, and then the content should be meaningful. So just because your training program is an online training program, it's not going to be effective. The content really needs to be relevant, it needs to be meaningful, it needs to be rich. बहुत दफा ट्रेनर्स या कंसल्टेंट्स ये परसीव करते हैं कि चूंकि वो प्रोग्राम ऑनलाइन डिलीवर कर रहे हैं और वो टेक्नोलॉजी यूज कर रहे हैं, इसका मतलब है कि कोई मैजिक होगा और लर्नर्स इफेक्टिवली लर्न कर लेंगे, क्योंकि उन्होंने इतनी मेहनत की है ऑनलाइन टेक्नोलॉजी यूज करके लर्निंग प्रोवाइड करने की. बट दिस इज नॉट ट्रू. द थिंग इज दैट the training content which you include must be relevant. So sometimes what happens is that the trainers or developers, they actually translate an ineffective classroom training content into exactly an online training content. So that is called repurposing. So repurposing is something that is not going to be effective at all. If an ineffective classroom training content is ineffective because the content is not meaningful, it is not going to become meaningful just because it has been shifted to an online source of learning. So repurposing is not going to be effective unless your training content, your traditional training content is actually very rich, is actually very meaningful. So you need to take this thinking, this impression in your mind that just because it is online, it is not effective. It is not going to be effective. Then another consideration that you should have in mind while designing an online training program is the consideration of bandwidth. bandwidth is something of a technical nature, so you need to take into account what kind of bandwidth is available. So if your company's intranet has low bandwidth, then you cannot provide videos or online lectures because it will not be able to download them. Your system will not be able to play them, and there would be disruptions, and your employees or trainees will get frustrated because it will get stuck again and again. So you need to take into account what is the bandwidth available, and if it is possible to increase the bandwidth of your infrastructure. You should also consider blended instruction. So you should consider that whether online learning can be supplemented by some kind of traditional classroom environment, because that has got its own advantages as well. So you must consider in your training design whether a blended instruction is possible and what would be the advantages of if you incorporate blended instruction in your training program. Then you should use games and simulations because they gain the interest of the trainees. So because the trainees, they have to actively participate in the training program. They are not monitored. They are not watched by anybody. So there need to be some content which gains their interest. So games and simulations are something that people are very ready to commit themselves with. So if it is possible, you should incorporate some kind of games or simulations so that employees are more interested in the learning content. Another thing that you should incorporate in your design is that you should structure the material properly, because structure of the material is very important in an online training program, because people have to guide themselves through the training content on their own. So if the structure will be haphazard, if the structure does not have meaning, if it does not have coherence, if it does not have some flow, then people will not be able to guide themselves through that structure. So you need to structure the pieces, you need to structure the segment of your training program in an effective manner so that people can easily flow through them, they can easily step forward through those pieces. Then you should allow the trainees some opportunities to collaborate and communicate with each other, communicate with other experts, communicate with other colleagues who are attending the same kind of training program. So there must be some inbuilt structure of collaboration in your e-learning environment. Then another thing that you should keep in your mind is that you must make the training program user-friendly. So first of all, the interface should be user-friendly. People should not get confused when they are looking at that interface. It should be something that guides them through the contents of the program very easily. So the interface should be user-friendly. The structure of the program is user-friendly. You should divide the training content into small pieces, small chunks, so that people do not get bored with very long pieces of training content or material. So you need to make it as user-friendly as possible. Then you have to keep each instructional segment self-contained. As I just said, that you need to divide your training content into small pieces, small segments, but the division of this training content should be made in a way that each segment should be self-contained. Self-contained means that whatever is the content of that segment, it should not be dependent on another segment. So whatever you include in that segment, whatever content you include in that segment, it should be self-contained. So all the information that is required to be incorporated in that topic, it should be present in there. Then any exercise or practice session that is related to that training content should be included in that segment. And any assessment that has to be carried on for that training content, it should be within that segment, it should be provided within that segment. So each of the instructional segment should be self-contained. But the next thing that you have to take into account is that the transition between these instructional segments is smooth. ऐसा ना हो कि जब ट्रेनी एक सेक्शन को खत्म करे उसके बाद उसको दूसरे सेक्शन को स्टार्ट करने में या उसको लोकेट करने में या उसे एक्सेस करने में कुछ कंफ्यूजन हो, और फिर ये कि आपने उनको सीक्वेंस इस तरह से किया हुआ हो कि पहला सेक्शन खत्म किया है तो उसकी जो एबिलिटी है या स्किल लेवल है वो उस लेवल तक आ गया है जो कि दूसरा सेक्शन कंप्लीट करने के लिए रिक्वायर्ड है. सो ऐसा ना हो कि आपने एक ऐसा सेक्शन पहले रख दिया है जो कि which requires learning of all the sections that are going to come later on. So the sequence should be very well thought of, and the transition between these instructional segments, that should be very smooth. Another thing that you have to take into account is that you should provide the learner with control, including the opportunity to skip sections or modules and the ability to pause, bookmark, review, and return to where they left off. So you should provide all these possibilities to the learner, that these things should be in his or her control, that if they want to stop, if they want to review something, they can play it back again, they can read it again. If they want to bookmark something, that opportunity should be available. If they want to pause, because learning in organization, learning in work life, and especially learning through e-learning, there could be a number of disruptions and distractions. अगर आप घर पे पढ़ रहे हैं तो आपकी फैमिली आपको बुला सकती है, अगर आप ऑफिस में बैठ के पढ़ रहे हैं तो कोई फोन कॉल आ सकती है, आपका बॉस आपको बुला लेता है, कोई इमरजेंसी हो जाती है. तो ये सब आपको अपॉर्चुनिटीज, चॉइसेस बीच में इनकॉर्पोरेट जरूर करनी चाहिए कि लर्नर जो है वो कंटेंट को रिवाइज कर सके, उसको पॉज कर सके, उसको रिव्यू कर सके, और उसके अलावा अगर वो सेक्शंस को स्किप करना चाह रहा है, मॉड्यूल्स को स्किप करना चाह रहा है, उसको लगता है कि ये चीजें उसको आती हैं, ये बेसिक स्किल है जो कि उसके लिए रिक्वायर्ड नहीं है, तो वो उनको स्किप करना चाह रहा है तो उनको स्किप भी कर सकता है. सो these should be the choices that should be available to the learner in your e-learning program. Then any audio, video, or animation that is included in your training content should be relevant and meaningful to the learning content. So just putting in videos or animations or songs or something that is totally irrelevant to your training content is not going to make it more effective. कई दफा लोग समझते हैं कि कार्टून्स डाल देंगे बीच में या म्यूजिक चला देंगे बीच में या कोई वीडियो ऐड कर देंगे, तो बगैर सोचे समझे, बगैर किसी रेलेवेंस के, ना वो ऑडियो, ना वो वीडियो, ना वो कार्टून्स, वो एनिमेशंस लर्निंग को की इफेक्टिवनेस को एनहांस नहीं कर सकते. सो व्हाटएवर यू वांट टू ऐड, you must add things that are relevant and meaningful to the learning content. Then you should provide the developer or producer with clear specifications regarding required file format, maximum file sizes, window and image dimensions, navigation, and screen fonts. So you must provide all these specifications very clearly to your developers, that these are the file sizes, formats, and specifications of the window. All these things should be clearly demonstrated, clearly communicated to your developer or your producer. Then you should provide writers and instructional designers with clear guidelines for the maximum number of words per screen, how many interactive exercises to include, and which exercises are best suited for the content. So this is what you need to clearly specify to your instructional designers and writers who are actually going to write the training content, that these are the specific number of exercises that you want to include. These are the number of words that should be included in each screen, or number of lines that should be present in each screen. So all these things must be clearly, first of all, thought about, and then they need to be clearly communicated so that whatever training program is developed, that is according to those specifications. Then while you are conducting evaluation of this e-learning training program, you should make trainees and managers accountable for course completion and learning. Most of the times होता ये है कि चूंकि इसमें आपने self paced learning करनी है, इसमें आपने खुद initiative लेना है, खुद action लेना है, तो people, they become lazy, sometimes they lack motivation, sometimes they get distracted, sometimes they just don't feel like studying anymore. So what you need to do is that in order to make e-learning effective, you need to make the employees responsible for the learning and their managers for the learning, their managers responsible for learning as well. So you can make them responsible by, for example, a person has to pass a specific certificate, get a specific certificate at the end of the training program. So unless the training is not completed and that certificate is not obtained, a specific salary raise or a promotion is not going to be provided. So that should be made a requirement. The employees should be made responsible for getting the learning completed. Then you should also conduct a formative evaluation. Formative evaluation के बारे में हम पहले बात कर चुके हैं. It is a pilot test which is conducted before a large-scale launch of the training program is carried on. So it is a sort of a dry run before full-scale launch is carried on. So you can include various different kind of people in a pilot test. You can include prospective trainees who are actually going to attend that training program and see how they respond. You can also include subject matter experts who can give you advice about the effectiveness of the training content, or if there needs to be made, if some changes need to be made. Then you can also include your vendors and clients and customers who can give you advice or who can give you suggestions about various aspects of the training program. So depending upon the requirement, depending upon the relevance of the people who can be included in giving advice or response or feedback about the training program, you should include all the people who are relevant with that. So you should conduct a formative evaluation before carrying out a large-scale launch. So these are some of the guidelines of developing an effective e-learning training program. Today we have talked about computer-based training programs in which we have dedicated most of our discussion to e-learning or online training. We will continue our discussion about technology-based training programs in the following sessions. So until next time, take care. Allah Hafiz.